Hey there, this is Jordan with Aurora, coming at you with some more wellness at home activities. And today we are going to talk about board games. I know, it's something that everyone probably has done at least once over this time with coronavirus going on as we're at home. Now, especially for families at home, especially with those with young children, what we're going to talk about today is the fact that not only do these help kind of take up time in the day and they're a nice family activity, but there's a lot of therapeutic components that go into board games that a lot of times we don't really get to think about. So here at the hospital, we do play some board games every once in a while, and it's because there's a lot of ways that we can gain and benefit from that for our mental health. So just first off, right out the gate, especially kids who are learning, and adults, no one's out of the picture here. Board games often allow us to think creatively, especially if it's going to be something like a cranium game or something like that. Something where maybe you have to fill in some of those answers, or you have to think fast on your feet, or do some Pictionary, or that kind of thing. So it really allows us to express ourselves in a way sometimes it's even physically. In addition to that, we also get to do some problem solving from time to time, especially if you're playing maybe a game of strategy. All of a sudden you're kind of feel like you're painted into a corner and you need to figure out a way to try and, defeat, it's your brother or sister or whatever it is, or you need to accept the fact that you might not win the game in this scenario. Now, losing at games is something that affects kids, adults, everyone. We're all susceptible to it, and how we handle that is something that varies from person to person. You may have heard some people might be poor sports when they lose. Well, how does somebody go from being maybe a poor sport to showing more humble sportsmanship, or being able to kind of take that loss and have it not affect you in such a great way? Practice is perfect. There's a lot of families that might even avoid playing certain board games because, wow, that caused this big uproar, this whole big mess. I encourage you, play that game again. Try it, sort through it. Not trying to cause problems here, but truth is, sometimes, as much as we love our family members, they can get on our nerves, or we can get really tired of losing at board games. Anger management is something that isn't taught overnight. It's not a flip of a switch. We all are going to experience anger throughout our lives, whether it's at jobs, schools, between family members, relationships. We face it in different ways, and how we really go about it, that's something that it takes a lot of skill and time and practicing to make sure that we can help identify those things and express our feelings in an appropriate way. In addition to that, there's a few developmental things that really helps us teach from a social learning perspective. So it teaches us that we need to take turns, that sometimes we need to cooperate and work as a team towards things for our common goal. And then finally, it's quality time. Quality time, whether or not you're at home with your spouse, maybe you're at home with the whole family. Really, it's quality time. And I know that it's really difficult right now because everyone's not really allowed to spend time with one another. So let's say maybe before you had a weekly, friend hangout group that met together on Friday nights and played board games. Well, you don't necessarily need to stop that. There's other creative ways that you can do that. For example, if you and your friend own the same board game at home, set it up at your table, and if you have something that can do kind of video conferencing or something like that, jump on FaceTime with them, jump on Zoom or one of those apps that are out there, and play the board game and take your turns as you normally would as if you were sitting right next to them. Either way, all we're saying is, as much as you can, stay healthy and stay connected. All right, thank you. We'll see you next time.